People at work, you're working 24/7. You don't even have time for your relationships. You don't have time to call anybody. You don't have time. When was the last time you called your mom? When was the last time you called your friends? When was the last time you hung out? Why won't you have panic attack? Why won't you have anxiety? Because you're not balancing your life. I was talking to a colleague the other day and we're talking about anxiety, dealing with anxiety in the workplace. And she was telling me about her experiences, and I was telling her about mine, and I was telling her how I've been able to manage anxiety when it comes to work. And she was like, Karen, you need to do a podcast, you need to talk about this, you need to tell people about this. And, I'm not sure I'm going to do a podcast yet, but I thought to actually just share some of the things that I have had to do to manage workplace anxiety, to stop myself from, getting anxious as much as I used to. When I first started my job, like 2 years ago, I used to get really anxious. Like I used to have like panic attacks. Once I see any email, I'll start having panic attacks. When I'm coming to work or when I'm in a meeting, my chest will be heavy. To seem like there's water in my chest. Like it was so bad. And then, one day something happened at work and I spoke to the HR, and it was actually me reporting something that happened. And it was like, Karen, you're single, but if you were married, you'll be home right now with your children and with your kids. Would you carry the anger from work home? You have to learn to compartmentalize. And what he said made so much sense. And I was like, yeah, this is true. If I was married, would I take the anger from work or the anxiety from work home? So one thing I've learned to do is compartmentalize. So I've tried as much as possible not to allow my life be consumed by my work. So there's two people. There's Karen at work. There's what I do at work. And once I leave the office, there's Karen outside the office. So I always say that once I leave the office and I close my laptop, that's the end. I'm not opening it for anything work related, except it's urgent, like urgent, urgent. I'm not opening it for anything work related until I come to work the next day. And that has helped me self regulate. It helps deal with the panic attack because at the end of the day, I'm not making my life about work. Work is work. And outside work, I have a life. I have things that I do. And one of the ways I've been able to manage it is having passion projects. So sometimes I just, like, for example, now I just wrote my book. I just finished my book. I always have something I am doing. I always have something that is interesting. I always have passion projects, or is it a course I'm taking, or is it I'm going out with friends? I always have one thing or the other that I try as much as possible to focus on. So once I leave the office, I've just programmed my mind. I try not to think about anything work related except it's urgent, except it's extremely urgent. When I'm even at home and maybe something dramatic happened at work and I'm thinking about it, I just call myself back. I'm like, Karen, you're at home. You can't be thinking about work right now. So that's how I've been able to manage panic attacks. I try to compartmentalize so that I don't get overwhelmed. And I try to, create time for myself. So I always leave early. I always leave very, very early. Like once it's closing time, I'm out because I want to have time to do other things. I want to get home early. I want to be able to watch a movie. I want to be able to do something that is not work related because I mean, we go to work every day. You literally spend all your life at work. So what time do you have for other things? A lot of people are at work, you're working 24/7. You don't even have time for your relationships. You don't have time to call anybody. You don't have time. When was the last time you called your mom? When was the last time you called your friends? When was the last time you hung out? Why won't you have panic attack? Why won't you have anxiety? Because you're not balancing your life. So it's very important. Of course, there is another side of it where because you're not doing the extras, it seems like you're not doing a lot of work. At work, I don't go out to greet anybody, to go to anybody's desk. If I'm coming to your desk, it means it's work related. I sit on my seat and I try to get my work done because I know that once it's 5 o'clock, I'm closing my laptop and I'm going out of there. So this year, be very intentional about not allowing yourself have panic attacks over work. Try to have a life outside work. Try to have passion projects. Try to have things that you do that keeps your life exciting. The thing outside work can just be enjoying time with your family, really. Just try as much as possible not to let your life all about your work.